Hello there guys, Panzer Panda here. First I want to start with this video by saying I apologize for not having the live stream as I had promised for earlier today, because apparently my channel did not have the eligibility to do a live stream, so that idea got cut. And then while trying to record some footage, we did get some footage, but the issue was the fact that it was too long to upload on YouTube. And so, and I tried seeing if there was a way to fix it besides just trimming it, and that basically resulted in all of our footage getting deleted. So there was ended up resulting in sadly no Cardfight footage. But so to compensate for that, I'm going to go ahead and do a deck profile on Big Titty Plant Waifu. So amongst my friends, for the next stage, we each took a, we didn't get a case, we got case slots, but each of us, individually got our own, two of my friends partnered up together, to get, Alt Mile and Next Stage, and I went for Ahsha, because for the longest time back in G era, I did want to make an Ahsha deck. What you're noticing in this pile right here, the draw triggers, is actually, I like to use these in my plant tokens instead. I know plant tokens don't have a shield, but it's not like it really matters with these, since I just use these as plant tokens, just because at the time I didn't have enough plant tokens, because my trial deck didn't come with it, because I purchased it from a dude that was selling triple rare trial decks for like 15 bucks, which is actually cheaper. But yeah, so these are my plant tokens, Ahsha tokens right here, if you want to read that. Ahsha tokens are going to be your main thing in the deck, and also your forest markers. These are the double-sided ones that come with the trial deck. I like to use force one. I'll explain why in a second. I don't have Chrono, guys. Alright, so beginning off the deck profile of the Big Titty Plant Waifu, the entire day today, my friends just kept commenting on Ahsha's assets, I should say. So this is going to be your main grade 3 per se. This is well, not per se. This is going to be your main grade 3. Dream Spinning Ranunculus Ahsha, the VR for Neo Nectar in the set. Both skills are Vanguard. During your turn, if you have 2 or more units with Ahsha in their card names, this unit gets plus 10,000. If you have 3 or more, it gets plus 1 crit. This is really good because that skill doesn't really have a penalty. It just, all it does is just require you to have an Ahsha as Vanguard, and that's really fucking good. Which, and if you don't know what a plant token does, is when it attacks, only when it attacks, not on your opponent's turn or anything like that. Only when it attacks, you choose one of your Vanguards with Ahsha in its name, and until end of battle, you basically bump this thing up to be the same stats as the Ahsha. So any triggers, any markers on it, it gains those effects. So that means the plus 10k in crit, it adds on to the Ahsha token as well. So these can swing for very big numbers and combos well with a couple other cards in the deck later on. Of course, mainstay is going to be your 4. You're going to want 4 copies of them. And secondary skill is once per turn, you can Soul Blast 1, retire 2 rear guards, and call an Ahsha flower token to rear guard. It's definitely, that skill is definitely cheaper than the original Ahsha, since your deck, it's not really counterblast heavy, but it can, if you spam things quite a bit, it could be, if you spam things a lot, then it'll be definitely counterblast heavy. So you want 4 of Dream Spinning. These are gonna be your main grade 3. Either you can first ride it or you can second ride it, whatever. But preferably you want to preferably second ride it, but you can totally first ride it, just because all that matters is however you want to set up your Ahsha fairy tokens, because the best way to optimize for with this is to set up a token on the first turn. Just hope you're not fighting Kagura or something that gets rid of rear guards, and then you would basically defend that until your next turn, and then set up a second token to make 2 really big columns. And well, technically 3, since your Vanguard's also gonna be there. And then your other grade 3, 4 Ranunculus Flower Maiden Ahsha, the one from the child deck. Its first skill is Vanguard or Rearguard. When plays, Counterblast 1, call up to 2 plant tokens to Rearguard, and add 10,000 power to herself. That can work pretty well with the Ahsha token as well, because, add 10k to herself. That's a 23k swinging unit, especially on Rearguard. That's actually not too bad, but you'd preferably, Sometimes I ride this first, but then sometimes I like to ride Dream Spinning first, and then if I have a second Dream Spinning in hand, I just ride Dream Spinning first and they just call another one, and then use just this Ahsha to help fill it out for Dream Spinning, because you can have basically one of Dream Spinning, one Ahsha token, and one regular Ahsha, and you can proc off her critical skill, so you get her maximum boost. You don't get the maximum field setup, but you get her maximum boost, which will help this rearguard out a lot. So that's really helpful. And her second skill is Vanguard once per turn, retire 3 rearguards and call an Ahsha token, flower token to rearguard. It's definitely a bit heavier since you do have to retire an extra rearguard. But honestly, I'm really glad the skills in Neo Nectar, just because you generate so many plant tokens. It's honestly just such an easy thing to proc off. I just like Dream Spinning just because it's a little cheaper since you don't use Soul as much in this deck. So that's my grade 3 lineup. The reason why I don't run any of the other grade 3s that come from the set is just because those primarily focus on generating general plant tokens, like just the normal 5k plant tokens. So, as much as I would love to beat somebody down with 5k beat sticks, it's better with this deck to go for the Ahsha tokens. It's alright using plant tokens to help set up a little bit of like some boosters in the back row, or setting up an early game like column, which I will show you in a second here with the grade 2 lineup. But your main focus is getting Ahsha high power, and also getting your Ahsha tokens, because one of the very important things to note. So this unit says, one important thing in its ruling, it says it will increase or decrease this unit's power and crit to match that of what your Vanguard is. So you don't want so in my honest opinion, you do not want to run Force 2. You want to run Force 1, because this unit basically gets a free crit anyway. You want to run Force 1 to optimize the power. And the reason why you don't run Force 2s is because if you ride multiple Ahshas, whether it be, standard or the Dream Spinning, Dream Spinning, because regular would be fine, but Dream Spinning, then the crit goes to waste. Because what happens is let's say you have Force 2 on both of these. Well, you swing with this that has 3 crits on it. Let's say let's say it's like you swing with that. It'll already have the 3 crits on it. You swing with this. You think it has 4 crits. It's not going to have 4 crits. It's only going to have 3. So, in case somehow you don't have any other copies, like you don't draw any other grade 3s, Force 2 is fine. But if you have like multiple grade 3s in hand and you feel like you're going to ride them, it's honestly better just to go Force 1, just stack power on a Vanguard, just because if you go Force 1, like let's say you ride twice, let's say you just ride twice, and you have Force 1, that is, let's see here, so 20, 23, 40, that's just a 43 straight beat stick with an extra crit, and that's added on to plant tokens. And you can have more than one Ahsha token on the field. They don't boost, but but it'll still be really, really good. Like that's the main premise. That's the reason why I recommend Force 1s rather than Force 2s. Force 2s is viable, just less efficient than Force 1s, because you're basically losing the fact that you're stacking Force 2s. You're just losing that because they're not gonna keep the crit. They're not keeping the crit. So it's useless, I would say, except on the Vanguard. Unless, as I said before, you only plan on riding once this game. Sorry that this is taking a bit long. I just want to emphasize that. That's the reason I learned that I definitely prefer to run Force 1s. Next up is the grade 2 lineup. I run 4 Blossoming Maiden Sella, however you want to pronounce it. I run this card because she helps establish a nice early game field pressure. Just because her axe skill, Vanguard or Rearguard, counterblast 1, call up to 2 plant tokens to Rearguard. So basically ride this, called 2 5Ks right here. That basically sets up a 10k column, 10k Vanguard. And typically by this point, I can either double swing, or I can swing and hit a rearguard. That's typically the case most of the time. Her first skill is Rearguard. If you have a unit with this same card name as your Vanguard on your Rearguard circle, this unit cannot be retired by card effects and gets plus 5k power. Honestly, both skills are really good. I see myself using more of the second skill than the first skill, but I definitely I like the consistency of having 4 of her, because in case there are times whenever like I fight some of my friends who use Kagura decks, she honestly helps save me, because most of them, because one of my friends who built the Gear Chronicle, he uses Blade Master, so by having her on the field, she can't be retired. So that basically means that I prevent him from gaining all the bonuses of having me having no rear guards. So she's a huge lifesaver most times. So I run 4 of her. Also like the shiniest. Now this is a definitely I can see you probably cutting Sella down to maybe 3 or so, but this is a definite 4 of. Like if you don't run 4 of this is, I'm not sure what's up with you. This card is amazing. This is Osmanthus Maiden Elnelma. She was really good. I know she was really good back in original G, but her skill is Vanguard Rearguard. When placed, Counterblast and Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and call up to 1 plant token to Rearguard. So that's basically, draw a card, add a card to your hand. So that can help you set up a column. But what I really like about her is her second skill. Continuous Rearguard. If you have a Rearguard, if you have a Rearguard on your Rearguard circle with the same card name as your grade 3 Vanguard or greater, all your units gain boost. So what I like to do is actually, I like to call her to one of the back row Rearguards, and I just like to Ahsha token, Ahsha token, and then because all my units get boost, I could technically call up just 2 Ahshas to boost my 2 Ahsha tokens, which means they both get 13k boost for free. And the boost skill is as long as I have rear guards in that name. So basically, as long as you protect at least one of these tokens, you basically can make any unit a boost unit. So that means you can make grade 3s boosters, which honestly is so good. I love it. It's such a good card. Like if Neo Nectars did not get this, they would not be. I mean, they wouldn't be terrible, but they wouldn't be as good, because this is just such a great combo piece. So she's definitely a 4 of, I recommend. And she can, with the plant token thing, she can help like set up like an early like column or like a late game column to like just help clear out like a rear guard circle or something. And then for my last grade 2, I run 3 copies of Maiden of Fine Ale. I originally ran a different grade 2. It was called, I forgot what her name is, but it's basically if you're when called. It's like call a plant token. If your Vanguard's grade 3 or above, call a plant token and add plus 5k to your Vanguard, which was decent. But the issue is I just saw myself never really using her, just because, well, let's just say she's kind of a, I'll say rotten sack of potatoes, but I mean, she's not that terrible, but she's not all that great either. But Maiden Fine Ale skill is Counterblast 1, retire this unit, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, call up to 2 cards from among them rear guard, put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. So, maybe wondering, well, why would you run this? Well, 1, because I saw her amongst my pile of things I got from my case slot. I'm like, this actually, because I feel like I would use her more, like, especially in like the early game to help set up columns. That rather than like the other one. Because that other one was only useful as a rear guard. And yeah, this is only useful as a rear guard, but the other one required me to have a grade 3 Vanguard. This one I can activate, like, let's say grade 2 Vanguard, and then I can call it and then use its skill to just kind of make a column, or just call 2, if I luck out, just 2 really good units as well. So I just liked her better. I do recommend, if you have any of the stuff from the previous set, maybe run something like Sylvia. I forgot the one tree guy's name. I forgot the tree, but he's like he helps draw. The main reason I say that is because, 1, Sylvia is such a good unit, because I just don't have any, because she's just Vanguard or Rearguard, call a plant token. That's as simple as that. So you basically get a free 15k column, but without any counterblast, which is amazing. And the plant dude's like, I forgot what it was. I think it's like Counterblast 1, retire 2 plant tokens and draw a card, I think. I don't think it was that heavy a cost. I don't remember exactly. But if you have any of those, I'd probably recommend running Sylvia in place of this, or maybe like making 4 Sylvia and running like 3 Sayla. But yeah, those are my grade 2 lineup. Sorry, this is taking a bit longer. I just like kind of want you guys to understand like my thought process behind this entire my like listing for this. And 4 of one of the best grade ones in all of Standard. The next stage set introduced basically the Stride fodder from G as really good search engines, because not only Padmini, but there's also Sisyllus and Steam Breath. Each of them, for their respective clans, act as a generic grade 3 searcher, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love all of them because, well, I'll read out their skills. So, first skill, Vanguard or Rearguard during your turn with 2 more token units. This gives plus 5,000. Honestly, I don't use it for that skill. Like, you can totally use it for that skill for the 13k, but that second skill, Vanguard or Rearguard, when placed from hand, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 from among them, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and if you put a card into your hand, discard a card from your hand. So, yes, it's a generic searcher because it doesn't specify Ahsha, or it doesn't specify Ahsha. It can be any grade 3. So that means you can run this in Musketeers if you want to. You can run this in Arboros if you want to. And the same goes for Sisyllus and Steam Breath. Each of those are great for their respective clans. Like Steam Breath can search any grade 3 in Gear Chronicle. So if you're running Chronofang, you can search out Chronofang. Just the grade 3. But and our even Sisyllus, search out grade 3. If you run Ganslot, you can search out Ganslot. You can, or Majesty Lord Blast, or I think that's gonna be a grade 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a grade 3. You can even he's gonna definitely jump in price whenever Majesty Lord Blaster comes out. But honestly, these are so good. These are definitely a 4 of, because they help with the consistency of your deck so much. So there are 4 of those. I run 4 Budding Maiden Diane. Honestly, I'm really thinking of cutting her down because her skill's okay-ish. I haven't really seen myself use it besides if I'm grade locked. So her skill is Vanguard Rearguard. When placed, discard a card from your hand, draw a card, and one of your grade 3 Vanguards gets plus 5k. So it helps set up that power boosted Ahsha Vanguard for those plant tokens, which I do use sometimes. But I'm honestly thinking about cutting this down, just because it's only okay-ish. It's not great. I just have 4 of currently just because it's nice and shiny and it's okay skill. This is definitely one of my favorite cards in terms of art and also skills. So this is Maiden of Sweetberry. Vanguard or Rearguard, when placed, call up to 1 plant token Rearguard for free. And if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, soul charge 1. So this can help with the soul blasting cost of Anelma or, your Vanguard Ahsha, your Dream Spinning Ahsha specifically. And Rearguard during your turn, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5k. So it can be a free 13k beats or booster during your whenever you have grade 3 Vanguard. I'm honestly thinking about bumping this up to 4 because this is such a good card. I love it. It's so good. The other grade one I run is Devoted Maiden Tanja. Its skill is Rearguard during your turn, if you have a unit on your Rearguard circle with the same name as your Vanguard gets plus 5k. It's similar to Diane, but this was just basically for free. All you have to do is just have a Rearguard. You don't have to discard and draw anything. You just that's it. It's simple. It's nice, and honestly, it's decent. I'd probably run other things from the previous sets if I had most of those things, but most of that stuff went off with my old Neo Nectar deck because I didn't know how soon this was coming out since I used to run Cecilia, because Arboros came out like 5 months after I sold the deck. So yeah. Now this is gonna be my trigger. Now last part of this is going to be my trigger lineup. Note, what I do with my triggers here is a bit what I like to call YOLO-ish. Just because I run 12 mother effing crits. Now you're probably wondering, Why do you run 12 crits? The reason for that is, okay, so first of all, 8 standard vanilla crits. Yep, that's obvious. Yep, crits. The reason why I run these 4. I realized during playtesting against most of my friends and their decks are just a bit more aggressive than mine, and I would just barely lack out in defensive power against them. So this card kind of helps that, because you're probably thinking, oh, but nullifies, you can just drop another card and just completely nullify attack. But here's the thing, though. That's the issue. You drop another card to nullify an attack. Most of my friends' columns could typically be blocked with something like if I had like a 30k shield, rather than having to drop 2 cards to be able to make up that difference, since my friend runs Royal Paladins. Yes, this card is kind of useless in front of the face of Chronojet, but my friend, what he likes to do a lot on whenever he basically rides next stage, is just swing at next stage with Force 2 at 15k. So if I just drop this, that completely nullifies out the attack. Like, it doesn't require me to do anything besides just drop it. And I realized I also needed a bit more aggression with Neos. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run 12 crit. Originally I was thinking of running like 6 draw, 6 crit, but I decided, you know what, no, I'm just gonna go full offensive and just run 12 crit. And honestly, this works extremely well. It may not for some other people, but for me, it suits my playstyle, because I like being aggressive. And, excuse me, as much as I like draw trees, like, I absolutely love draw trees. Like, they're one of my favorite trees in the game. I just found these work so much better. Yes, they count as sentinels. Yes, they can still be blocked by, sentinel abilities. But sometimes it's just better to just drop 1 card in your hand rather than 2 cards in your hand. And that's really important with this deck sometimes. Because, for Ahsha, you do need to retire rear guards. This is for, of course, later stage in the game guarding. And also, the 12 crit really helps add pressure against the opponent, because your Vanguard's already going to be crit, and so are your rear guards. And so one important thing that happens is the fact that your Vanguard, when you twin drive, let's say you double crit, you can add both effects to your Vanguard, because the Ahsha token's effects only activate when they attack. So that means the crit and power is still on your Vanguard until end of turn. So that means your standard Ahsha that may have 2 Force 1 markers on it with the extra crit and 10k power from its skill would be like 43k and 2 crit. With these on, it's 63k and quadra crit, and that goes for both rear guards without boost. So it helps with the aggression factor, and it helps that slight lack of and it helps with the extra pressure. Because if your opponent's like, oh yeah, I can totally take 2 damage, but but most scenarios, they're like, I don't know if I can take 3 points of damage though. Because even just 1 crit's just like, ooh, yeah. So it definitely helps with the pressure, especially since you're running 12 crits. It helps early on critting as well, which really helps flush out cards from your opponent's decks. Because I actually made my friend lose 3 of his next stages in the damage zone just because I critted him twice on grade 1 and grade 2 turn. So I run 12 crits on that. You can definitely run, the four nullifies and the 8 crits, or you can run whatever assortment of triggers you want. But this is what I like to run. And if you have an issue with it, well, I honestly don't even worry about voicing it, because the thing is the fact that, as I stated before, this works for me. Whatever works for you, you do that on your own. Like, this video is only to help those who are actually trying to seek help, instead of people trying to be assholes. Like that one dude before that commented on my Aquaforce videos, like, oh my god, this is such a shit profile, you shouldn't run 10 grade 3s, It's like, well, guess what? It's like, it's my own deck profile, it's what I run. If you're so big and bold, at least upload on your channel your own deck profile if you're going to talk big. Sorry guys, just had a rant about that, just because that dude was an absolute asshole that had no life. And also, 4 heals, obviously. I'm not an absolute madman to run. I honestly, if I could, I'll totally run 16 crits. JK, no. Just 12 crits run perfectly fine. And also the starter, ride upon, draw a card, and if you go second, you basically get a quick shield ticket. So the main premises of this deck is, honestly, it's great because the fact that most of the cards help set up a field because of the plant token calling. So it helps alleviate some stress from using your hand. So it helps set up columns you can typically hit most rear guards, and you basically kind of full force like shove down your opponent's throat your like crit and power with having 2 Ahsha tokens on the field with with setting up. Only real big issues is when your opponents have abilities that retire rear guards. That's going to be the main issue. But otherwise, though, if they don't and they try focusing on rear guards, honestly, defend those tokens. Don't worry about any other rear guard. Just focus on protecting the tokens and your Vanguard, because your deck is made to kind of fill up those empty slots. Because, you know, as I said before, some units can just call out a plant token. Anelma, she's a booster. She basically acts as a booster herself because she's 10k power and also her skill that makes her boost. And you can just call another grade 3, and Anelma's own skill basically calls another rear guard. So you basically just have the back row right there. So honestly, this deck is amazing. I absolutely love it. And I'm honestly really glad I picked up this deck because I've always wanted Neo Nectar. I've wanted Ahsha for so long, and this definitely has to be one of the most fun decks I've ever ran. I definitely did have consistency issues with it whenever I did run the 4 draws, just because there were just some times where I'm just like I needed a crit and just a draw shit. I'm just like, or the times when I'm just trying to guard, but then like by dropping a nullify or by putting down a nullify, I just end up dropping something I do like need as defense to help like tank. So with my deck profile, it just really helps with my aggressive playstyle. You guys can, of course, adjust it with however you want. This is just my own template to help whoever is trying to look for it on like their own sort of thing. So that will be all for the deck profile. Sorry that it's a bit longer. I just wanted to, you know, express out my thoughts and also what exactly like I'm thinking of whenever like with my card choices in this deck. Once again, very sorry about not being able to stream. And whenever it is possible, I will get a deck profile. I will get a deck profile on the next stage deck my friend Harley has, and the alt mod deck my friend Braden has. And this is not, and this is like to not mash on like the deck profile or like the Ahsha or anything like that. But I definitely have to say currently, Altmal, if you're wondering which of the 3 is stronger, I definitely have to say Altmal is the strongest of the 3, with Neo Nectar as a close second. If you can get the correct consistency and all the field setup and all that, because I find Gear Chronicle be more like Vanguard like focus, because you know like the whole like riding grade 4 mechanic. But the issue with that, though, is like with my what my friend Harley kept having as an issue is the fact that he kept most of his hand as guarding material, which would get depleted from like one like straight turn of Ahsha. And same for my friend Braden, who he just got his hand would get depleted from one good like turn of Ahsha. And if I can defend myself to next turn, I can typically kill them. So that's honestly one of the great things about this. But I definitely have to say, in terms of consistency, I do have to say Altmal is probably the best, because there are cards that literally help search out Altmal that aren't just Sisyllus, and they call them out, but they can also add him to your hand from your field. So you can attack with him, and then when you attack with that unit, you can just Soul Blast 1 and add it to your hand, which is Suleiman, which is the triple rare grade 2 from the set. He's honestly really good. But honestly, I definitely just have to say I have a lot more fun with Neo Nectar. It's a great deck because at one point I actually swung at my friend for I think it was 360k columns with triple crit. So those were hitting very big numbers, because thanks to Force 2, since I rode like 3 Dream Spinning Ranunculus Ahshas, so that was honestly really great. Also, plus side of Anelma, You can use her skill to make Ahsha plant tokens boost other Ahsha plant tokens, but the issue is you don't get the power boost, like the boosted Ahsha tokens. Like here, I'll show you real quickly. Like I have a lot of tokens. I do have a lot of tokens. Let's say you have 2 Ahsha tokens right here. The back row one would not gain power because in its skill it specifically reads out when it attacks. This is not attacking. This is boosting. So only the front row one would gain the power, but that's honestly not that bad because this is still a 13 gate booster. So even though you can't like abuse the whole power gain thing, it's honestly still really strong. And in case you're wondering why I don't run any, I'm pretty sure I explained this early on, but the reason why I don't run some of the other grade 3s from the set is because they're mainly there for generating plant tokens rather than actual like Ahsha tokens. Like yes, Ahsha and Dream Spinning, they generate standard plant tokens, but you typically use that to help set up for your Ahsha tokens, which I guess you could technically say could be the same for the other ones, but you really need the name Ahsha because Ahsha tokens only work with Ahsha, obviously. So, yeah. Sorry this deck profile dragged on for a bit longer. Also, sorry for not live streaming or having any card fights. Next time, I definitely will try this. Definitely try to record some content for you guys. I definitely apologize for that. And a quick thing before the video ends. If you guys want to comment down whether you guys want to see my... well, I mean... I'm pretty sure you guys would definitely want to see my complete Dimensional Police rather than my incomplete Angel Feather deck, because that's still in progress. But in case you do happen to want to see like how it's going so far, then yeah, I can definitely do a deck profile on that. But probably my next deck profile will probably be my Dimensional Police Die Liner deck. And hopefully sometime within the next couple of weeks, I can be able to get my friends' decks and do deck profiles on those so you guys can see their deck builds. I'm not sure whether I'll do that. I'll have them do the deck profile, or have me borrow the deck from them and then do the deck profile and then return the deck to them. So, not sure. Depends on what they want to do or how our schedules look. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy it. Please let me know if you guys actually want to see my Angel Feather for whatever reason. Or Mega Colony, actually. I have my Mega Colony. Could use some tweaking, but honestly, it's not that bad. It actually works pretty well. But yeah, this is my Neo Nectar Ahsha deck with the updated stuff from Next Stage. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and hope you all take care. Panzer Panda signing out.